right, ladies and gentlemen, just a couple of preliminaries. We're going to start momentarily. Let me thank you guys for coming tonight. Now, I know you guys know all of the Zoom netiquette rules, so this will be redundant for most of you. But let me ask you, if you can, to turn on your camera so that we can join each other virtually in this setting. If not, then that's okay. But let me ask you to go ahead and mute your microphones. The chat has been enabled. So if you have questions that you want to post in the chat, feel free. And then we will have an opportunity for Q&A at the end of Dr. Klim's presentation. And then some questions we will be able to answer live, but other questions we might just post the answer in the Q&A. So let me ask you to scroll through that through the evening. All right, Ms. Cook, do we have the green light?
Yes, we are ready.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our virtual town hall meeting with the School of Business. You could be anywhere in the world, but I'm so glad that you're here with us tonight. The other thing that I'm excited about is to have all of the leadership members from the School of Business here with us. So the dean will be here momentarily. He's running a little bit late. But we have the department chairs here, and I'm going to introduce them alphabetically and then give them an opportunity to say a few words before we introduce our special guest. Let me also say the focus of this town hall meeting is advising, but we know that you have questions that may not be directly related to advising. We're going to try to answer as many questions as you present. And if we don't have the answer here tonight, we'll try to find out for you. So let's start by introducing Dr. Paul Brown, who is the Department Chair for Supply Chain and Economics. Dr. Brown.
Yeah, good evening to everyone, and thank you for taking the time out to be here. And we know it's been a stressful semester, stressful year, getting to the end here too, right? We got about a month to go or so, right? So, but it's glad too, and want to welcome you guys, for coming out this evening.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Department Chair for Accounting and Finance, Dr. Crystal Hudson.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I think the vast majority of this town hall will be dedicated to your question and answers. So again, thank you for joining us.
Okay. The Department Chair for Marketing and Management.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Donald Vest. Welcome again. Missing everybody live, but virtual is the thing now. So we're very excited that you're here with us this evening, and we look forward to being face-to-face with everyone. And as Dr. Boyer said, we don't have the answers tonight. We'll try to get them for you. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we do have various faculty members here. So faculty, do you want to just, let's wave faculty. And we may call on them to answer questions throughout the evening, but again, we do want to devote most of the session to talk about advising and to be able to answer your questions. Let me see if the dean has popped in. Okay, and we will allow the
Dr. Klim.
Yes, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest for the evening is the woman who knows everything there is to know about advising at Clark Atlanta University. I want to introduce Dr. Cynthia Klim, the Executive Director of the Center for Academic and Student Success. So she is able to answer your questions, and if she doesn't have the answer, she knows who does. So ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce Dr. Klim.
Thank you, namesake. Good evening, everyone. I am very excited to be here. I would like to thank the dean for extending the invitation and the faculty for welcoming me, as well as the staff. Ms. Cook, thank you for all of your support as I have attempted to navigate this. I'm happy to see a lot of familiar names in the chat. Am I ready to go?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. I will share my screen. Do we see my screen?
No.
Yes, and I made you a co-host.
And I thought that I saw that, so let me go back, pardon me. So excited to be here. And as Dr. Boyer has indicated, I hope that we will instinctively answer some of your questions. And if there are questions that you have and I do not have the answers readily, I will make certain that we get those back to you at a later time. I'm sorry, I always have my little protocol sheet up first with the students. We do this a lot in our area. So again, grateful to the School of Business Administration. I'm grateful for the love that the faculty have for the students in the B School. So I'm always excited to be here. Just as an overview, these are some of the topics that I hope to cover on this evening. There were a few requests from the department chairs and the faculty that I tried to make certain that I incorporated in the presentation. So I would like to start with just some important dates and deadlines for the students to remember. We have already opened academic advising for summer and fall 2021. Registration for summer school actually started last evening at 5:00 p.m. So for students who are interested, all of our summer classes are going to be online. So that is our format for this summer. Strictly online for summer. And then we're going to talk more about summer school as a transient student as we go on in the conversation. We were talking earlier about our self-care days that start for students on tomorrow. I joked about the fact that we have 502 students on campus, and I noticed people with suitcases leaving the campus today. Registration for fall 21 will open on April the 12th, and then you'll see the usual calendar dates. We're working through the details about the registration period for fall semester. You know how typically we have those staggered. So more information will be forthcoming about that, but just wanted to alert everyone to that date. Our reading period date is here. Please note for the young people who may be planning to attend summer school at Clark Atlanta, there's always a financial aid application process for summer school. So please note that deadline is May 1st. And we also have, the application is online on the homepage of the Office of Financial Aid for you all to be able to view. Summer school, first cancellation of classes is June 4th, and then the first day of summer classes is actually June 7th. Classification of students, I'd just like to remind students, we talk about this a lot. So your academic classification, you should be reminded, is always also linked to your financial aid package and the amount of funding you receive. So for my first year students, if you all will complete the end of the semester with fewer than 28 credit hours, you will still be classified as a freshman next year, and you will still have a freshman financial aid budget. So in those instances, you may want to consider going to summer school, because that should also keep you on track. We have registered you all for 16 credit hours in the fall and 16 in the spring, which would give you 32 hours if you successfully completed everything, which would put you in that sophomore area. And I do know we have transfer students as well as some advanced freshmen. We have advanced freshmen who are sophomores and juniors this semester who may also be in the audience. But if you would just remember for each classification, the 8, so 28 sophomore, 58 junior, 88 senior. The normal course load at Clark Atlanta for a regular semester, fall and spring, is anywhere from 12 to 18 credit hours. As long as you're registered for 12 hours, you are considered to be a full-time student. You all can take up to 18 credit hours without any additional charge and any additional fee for your tuition. As I referenced, the first year students taking 16 and 16 hours, with the students beyond the first year, if you complete your 32 hours in your first year, every semester thereafter, you'll register for 15 credit hours, and you will end up with 122 credit hours to be able to graduate, as students like to say, on time and with my class. So please bear that in mind. Once you decide that you want to take a course overload, please be advised that those course overload requests should be discussed with your faculty advisor at the time you're preparing to register and you're being advised by your faculty advisor, because we want students to submit those course overloads by the end of the drop add period that is published on the university calendar every semester. So we need to make certain if you need to take an overload, and our hope is if you follow the guidance of your faculty advisor, you should not need to take a course overload. But in the event that you do, the requirements are a 3.25 GPA. You have to have the approval of your advisor or a chair. And the other big piece is you have to pay for that additional credit. Each credit hour above 18, a student has to pay for. And again, the maximum load in any semester is 21. So it's not 22, it's not 24, it's not 36, it's 21 in the fall and spring, and the maximum load in summer is 9. And again, we would give the same consideration for students in summer school who may want to take 12 semester hours, because taking 12 hours in the summer would then put me in line to take 18 in the fall, and I could graduate earlier than later. Again, the request for those overloads must be made during the drop add period for full consideration. So we often talk about holds that are on student accounts. So some of the holds are common holds that we have. I'll share that listing with you. But also please note, students, you do not have to wait until the hold is removed to be advised. In all of our workshops, we encourage students, schedule your advising appointment with your faculty advisor, have that appointment. So whatever point in time your account is cleared, then you are able to go on to register for your classes. You know, I often tell students, you know, if somebody drops off some money to your account and you have not been advised and you don't have your PIN, you can't go on with the process of registering for your classes. So I want to emphasize how significant that is. Do not wait until the last minute. You all should begin scheduling your appointments, and I'm certain the B School faculty will let you know when those appointments have opened up for you. So there's the advising hold. AV hold, and that's typically placed by our offices, either CAS or your faculty advisor. And in CAS, there are some instances that I'll place a hold on a student who may be a transient student during a fall or a spring. So I'll place the hold there, that we are mindful of the fact that the student can only take 18 credit hours. We also use the advising holds for my upperclassmen who know about the MAS and SAS holds. We also put those on when you all have not successfully completed your workshop, and that hold stays there until you have completed the workshop. The other group of students on academic warning or academic probation are reinstated following an academic suspension. And then students who have a balance of any sort at the university have an AR hold. And we also have admissions holds. Hopefully we don't have anybody with any outstanding transcripts, but that's typically why you will have an admission hold. And then financial aid also put holds on students for FAFSAs. If there's something amiss about the lenders, pre-loan counseling verification, and then the medical hold that is typically put on by student health services. And there has been some lax with the medical holds during the time that we have been in this virtual space, but please believe that those holds are going to be reinstated and applied once we're back on ground for classes in a face-to-face situation. So one of the things that we need to talk about to make certain that students are clear, particularly since we are planning summer and fall classes, undergraduate students, except students majoring in the School of Social Work and Education, had the option to change a grade of C to a P star star. So I want students to be clear about the fact that a P star star on your transcript means that you received a grade of C, but you opted to take the P star star. So for some of our P star star students, taking the P star star in a class that may not have been a policy class, may not have been a business class, you did that because then ultimately your grade point average does not include a C average. And that's typically typically why students would do that. So opting for the P star means there are no quality points to be factored into your grade point average. And P star also signals to you that you have met the prerequisite requirement because you earned a grade of C in that class. So the letter grades D will automatically change to Ps by the Office of the University Registrar. And again, scholars, my first year students in Math 109 and 110, you know, you all have to have a C or better in those classes, just as you have to have a C or better in your major classes, in your C-bus classes, and economics courses. So again, that P is not factored into your GPA, but please note that in classes where you have a P, if the requirement was that you had a C or above, that P grade is not going to satisfy that course requirement. So those are some of the courses that we need to look at. If you did not register for those classes again this semester, or if it's a course you're taking now, you would need to repeat that to fulfill your major requirements. And of course, the letter grade F was automatically changed to a no pass, which means it was not factored into your GPA. And again, another course that you would need to complete. So I want to talk about the pass, no pass aligned with satisfactory academic progress with SAP. So the university and the federal regulations for the Fafsa require students to evidence that they are satisfactorily moving toward completing their degree requirements. So there are two ways that we would measure SAP for a student. So it's based on your cumulative GPA of a 2.0, because of course, the first time your cum GPA falls below a 2.0, you're placed on academic warning. The second time, academic probation, and a subsequent time, you would be suspended from the university. But you would be placed on SAP for not having a 2.0. You may also be placed on SAP for what we refer to as PACE. Every student has to complete at least 67% of the credit hours that they attempt in order to not be flagged as a SAP student. And again, the other requirement is that for a 122 credit hour degree program, your maximum attempted hours is 180 credit hours, which is 150% of the credit hours you need to earn the 122 credit hour degree. So those are, when we talk about SAP, those are the two instances that a student would be placed on SAP. Students, please note, as convenient as it is to withdraw from a course, you all also need to understand that those course withdrawals are also being, you're being penalized for withdrawing from courses, because those credit hours also go in to your SAP calculation when the Office of Financial Aid looks at you at the end of the spring semester. I would like to also mention, typically financial aid looks at SAP in the spring semester. The exception to that is if in the spring of 2020, you were on SAP, then they would look at you at the end of the fall semester. But typically financial aid goes in once a year unless a student is already on financial aid probation for having had a SAP appeal approved. I'm watching the chat. Do I need to stop at some point? Dr. Boyer, I'm looking at you. I was trying to figure out, are you signaling me?
Not at all. I was going to let you finish, and I just, there were a couple of questions that came up, but it is possible that you may answer them as you are proceeding. So I was going to let you finish your comments, and then we'll pose questions.
Okay, thank you for that. So with SAP, typically the CAS department does the initial SAP report, because we are typically provided with, we do receive the list of students who are on academic warning, academic probation, and suspension, because we actually send out the notification for those students. And then the students that are on SAP for PACE, typically financial aid provides us with who those students are, and we will generate the SAP form. The first year students, we do the outreach with the freshmen, and beyond that, we actually send those SAP forms to the School of Business Administration so that your faculty advisors then go in to look at the courses that you need to take, because part of that SAP plan is actually identifying what courses you need to take in the subsequent semester to improve your overall GPA to a 2.0. We always encourage students to repeat the classes that you have failed, the F classes, and then the D classes. And I say the F classes first because that is the thing with the academic forgiveness policy, which would forgive the F and allow the latter grade to be the grade of record. That is the most efficient and effective way to improve upon your overall grade point average. And then with the D grades, we just have to be mindful because of the fact that you would be restricted to only 14 credit hours. We have to make certain that at least 12 credit hours, you do not have a D grade in. So most of the time we would delay repeating a D unless it's a prerequisite course, because if you've taken the class twice and earned a D grade, your financial aid is not going to cover that class in that term. You will need to make certain you have some other aid to take care of that for financial aid purposes. And typically we'll have financial aid will correspond with the student to let a student know that. This slide, the university policy is that students should meet with an academic advisor at least 3 times a semester. And our practice in CAS is to meet with students at what we refer to as academic check-in. And we do that with the first year students because the first year students are with CAS and all of the upper class students are in their major departments and in their schools. And then at midterm, grade review time and progress report. If a student needs a resource referral, we'll reach out to the student. And then the other point in time is advisement and course selection and registration. So those are typically the 3 times at a minimum that a student would see a faculty advisor. And we do some work in CAS that I'll talk about later to assist sophomores, freshmen, sophomores, and juniors with preparing for their faculty advisement session. But again, we'll talk about that on another slide. Typically, as we are conducting our workshops, we talk to students about what tools a student would need for advisement. So scholars, you all should compose a complete email to request an appointment. So my email is, Dear Professor Boyer, I hope that you are having a great day. I am Cynthia Klim, student ID number 123456789. I'm a rising sophomore with 27 credit hours pursuing a degree in business administration with a concentration in management. I would like to schedule an advisement appointment to discuss my summer and fall 2021 registration. I look forward to your response, including your virtual hours, please and thank you. Sincerely, Cynthia Klim. So a proper greeting, what it is that you want, and just to say hello, how are you? Not, just to, I've been trying to reach you for 6 years and, make it sweet, make it loving, make it kind. Send that message the way you would want to receive a message. So you all should, B-School will let you know when you are going to begin to schedule your appointments. And again, scholars, do your homework. Review Panther Path degree works, review your degree program that you were given, and again, looking at what courses are being offered and the sequence of courses. The great thing about our academic plan is all of the courses are listed sequentially. So make certain that you're taking all of those courses from the first year and then the second year by term, because a lot of the courses are offered in a sequence and offered in that pattern because that is the way the B-School actually offers those courses. So make certain that you're aware of that and that you're cognizant. Important to be early is to be on time and to be prepared for that conversation. You're not going to your faculty advisor a total empty vessel. You've already gone in to review all of these things. You already have the questions that you need to ask about what is permissible, what recommendations the faculty member will make to you. So again, on time and always be prepared. And students, you should always allow for extra time during the meeting. So you should have time on the front end and time on the back end, because sometimes faculty members will encounter a student like me who is chatty, talks a lot, has a lot of questions, and they may be delayed slightly. So please don't rush or don't overbook your schedule to make certain that you have adequate time to meet with that faculty advisor. We also recommend that you bring any additional documentation. For example, if you transferred into Clark Atlanta, you should have your transfer evaluation handy. Yes, all of those things should be captured in DegreeWorks, but just as a quick reference, and in the event that you have a question about that, make certain you have that tool. We're also going to talk about transient permission. You should have your transient permission form ready when you meet with your faculty advisor, along with your course descriptions, the institution that you plan to attend. You should have all of that information at hand. We talked about the course overload form earlier. If you want to request an overload, you should have that at that appointment as well, so that you all can have a complete and well-rounded conversation and discussion. We still allow students to cross-register in the AUC, and we also have, we don't talk a lot about ARCH, the Atlanta Regional Council of Higher Education, where students can actually take classes at, I think it's 16 or 18 different institutions. So it's ARCH, ARCHE, but to take courses under the ARCH program, you all have to make certain that you do that before you leave here in May, that you make that request. Students go to Agnes Scott, they go to Kennesaw State, Dr. P. Students go to Georgia State, Georgia Tech. There are a number of schools in the area, and UGA, because I had a student from Athens that took courses one semester in Athens because of the fact that she was close to graduating from the university. So please make certain that you go to that session and that you are actually prepared to have this conversation with your advisor. Now, once you've met with your academic advisor and you have your web registration form, and we typically send the web registration forms, the electronic version, to students so that you all do have access to that electronic form. Fill out that form, and I also always recommend to students, put 1 or 2 additional courses. Yes, you're only planning to take 18, but in the event that a course is closed by the time you get in to register, you have options that have been approved by your faculty advisor that are already pre-approved, and you don't have to go back to meet your academic advisor again. And then once Banner Web is opened on April the 12th for you to register, then the only thing that you need to do is go to the system, and it opens up at midnight, 12:01 a.m. on April 12th. So we have students who stay up or who set the alarm to get up so that they can get those first set of courses. And we just encourage that you not delay and you not wait and not procrastinate, because then the best selections of courses may actually have gone away. So transient permission. So students may take summer school classes at CAU, but we also offer as an option to students transient permission. I want to be clear and I want to emphasize the permission is that you ask and you're approved prior to registering for the course. That you ask, it's reviewed and approved by your faculty advisor or department chair, by the CAS office, and then by the registrar's office. We have all of those forms now in DocuSign. So now you're able to see where that form is, and you can see when that form has actually been approved. So please make certain that you do that. Otherwise, I tell students you may be taking it for your own personal growth and development, because if it's an upper level business course and it is not equivalent to CAU's business course, CAU can tell you no. If it's a core curriculum requirement and it's not one of our approved core curriculum courses and not an acceptable substitute, the CAS office will say no to you because it is not the equivalent course. Please be mindful, summer school transient, 9 credit hours. Academic forgiveness does not apply when you take a course as a transient course. So if you have one of those no pass grades that you want to repeat, you can repeat that because there was no grade GPA associated with that. But if well, let's go back to fall 2019 for my upperclassmen. If you took a course then and you failed it and you need to repeat it, repeating it at Clark Atlanta will impact the GPA. Repeating it as a transient student will not. So just bear that in mind. Also remember, CAU doesn't offer a mini-master session currently. So again, if you're talking about summer school, and not at CAU. Those are basically the policies. So you will follow these instructions, meeting with your advisor at the same time you're looking at summer and fall scheduling, and then make certain that you all are looking at the institution. We've said to the students who've attended workshops thus far, I know you all are looking forward to the relaxation period, but this would also be a good time for you to identify a college or a university for you to take those courses. Remember as well, your upper level courses, the 300 and 400 level courses, must be taken at a 4-year degree granting university, not a 2-year college or a junior college. So oftentimes our students take summer school classes and they'll take core classes. There are occasions that students have to take an upper level course. But again, remember, transient is an option for the student. The School of Business still has the last say so about whether or not you will be permitted to take what you think is an equivalent course to a Clark Atlanta course. So please bear that in mind and prepare and do those things in advance as well. You all can go to the registrar's website to find the form that you're going to complete. You also need to make certain that in advance you're applying to the institution that you wish to attend. If the institution, typically we will provide the transient form, and on that transient form, the last signature of the registrar, they indicate whether you're in good standing, academic warning, academic probation, or suspended from CAU. We don't allow suspended students to take courses as a transient students, but that checkbox is there. Typically, you'll not need to send a CAU transcript. Typically, that transient form is sufficient to document your academic standing at CAU. Once you've completed those courses, please make certain that you request a final transcript from that institution so that it is sent back to CAU, because the process is the transient form is already in the registrar's office. You send the transcript to Clark Atlanta University. When that transcript arrives, there's a staff person in the registrar's office who is going to look to see, do you have an approved transient form? And then those courses will be applied to your CAU transcript. So please make certain that you do that in a timely manner and that you do follow up. I encourage students, typically summer schools are five weeks, and typically by mid-July, students are done with summer classes. So I would make the request and just note on that transcript request after my final grades are posted, because students at CAU do this and say, I need an official transcript. They don't make an indication after grades are posted. So please, sir, please, ma'am, make certain that you are that specific in that request. And again, just more details in terms of what that process looks like. My little bold here is all signatures approvals must be completed prior to registering for the class. If you do not complete the process, it may result in the student not receiving credit for the course, particularly if it's not a CAU equivalent course and a course that will satisfy the requirements. I probably should have put this in bold as well. In bold as well to indicate, sorry about that, to indicate that, oh, so great, it's gonna take me through the whole presentation. Sorry, my skills are lacking here. Okay. The other thing that you want to do, if the class that you want to take is closed, you have to complete another transient permission form. Remember, I talked about the registrar's office looking at your transcript and looking for the transient permission form. If you take another course and that course has not been signed off on and it has not been approved, you will not receive credit for that class. So make certain if your class is closed for summer that you do submit another form. And again, I often advise students, if you know you only want to take 1 or 2 classes, you can put 3 courses on the form to be approved in the event that something is closed. Then you still can exercise an option with that form. Otherwise, please, sir, please, ma'am, make certain. If you change schools, you have to create a new form, because the Georgia State form for transient credit is not a Georgia Military College form. So please make certain that you all pay attention to that. We have been reminding students, you all have gotten countless emails from our team about renewing your Fafsa for 2021, 2022. There's the university code on the bottom of the slide. Please make certain you all do that. Our priority deadline for those funds that are limited at the university, i.e. grants other than the Pell Grant and College Work Study. Those funds are awarded on a first come, first serve. So if you don't do your FAFSA until June-ember, it's not likely that you're going to qualify for any of those additional funds. And we are using the 2019 IRS tax transcript. That means a lot to the students. And again, if we've missed the February 1st deadline, you still need to submit this as soon as possible. Be mindful of the fact that if you are flagged for verification, if you've ever been flagged for verification, you should posture yourself that you will be required to submit those documents to the Office of Financial Aid again. So please make certain that you're prepared. And because of the fact that you all are all continuing students, you should not close out your term this semester without having been advised and not verified with financial aid that all of your information is intact and that everything is perfectly in order for you for the fall semester. So for those of you who may have some concerns about your assigned financial aid advisor, take a snapshot of this. This is hot off the press. They just sent this to me like at 5 o'clock today because there was someone who did leave the financial aid office. So you'll see where people have P through T and Z. And this is not Dr. Phillips. This is not our Dr. Phillips.
Not our Dr. Phillips.
Not our Dr. Phillips. No, not our Dr. Phillips. We're not letting him go anywhere.
All right, so Dr. Klim, I'm just going to interrupt half a moment to say, ladies and gentlemen, this is being recorded. So if you missed something, you can take a peek at the video a little bit later. But before we get into financial aid, a couple of questions have come up in the chat. So one question, I'm coming to you, Dr. Hudson. Students had questions about their advisor. Do you get a new advisor every semester? So Dr. Hudson.
To answer your question, no. You should, once you come from Dr. Klim's shop and you've been assigned a School of Business advisor, you should keep that advisor year after year. So if you don't know who your advisor is, go to your department chair based on your major concentration. If you're accounting and finance, email me. If you're marketing and management, email Dr. Vest. If you're supply chain and economics, email Dr. Brown.
Okay. All
and
right.
we are actually from my office, we are actually, we have the list of the faculty advisors assigned to students. We are in the process. I think Ms. Law started today sending those out to the students in the B school, the name and an email address.
Oh, perfect.
Great.
Perfect.
Just to assist, yes.
All right, there were questions about dates for fall registration. Ms. Cook.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Boyer. We have, advisement has started as of yesterday. And when a student contacts us to be advised, the student is advised for both summer and fall at the same time. So technically registration is now open for fall 21 as well. We advise for both semesters at the same time. If the student doesn't choose to take summer classes, that's fine. We'll just advise them for the fall. So yes, students can start reaching out to their designated faculty advisor now and be advised for fall 2021.
Okay. There have been questions about, will we still have online in classes in the fall, or will we be back on campus? What do we know at this time?
At this time, a final decision based on my last meeting and the last time on Monday that I asked this question, is today Tuesday, yesterday, was that we did not have a definitive. I think we're all prayerful that we will be on campus, but I'm also anticipating that there will be options for students to take some courses online as well, but nothing definitive. Students, I don't know that you all are aware, but typically the Atlanta University Center, Spelman, Morehouse, and Clark Atlanta, their council of presidents meet together, all of the provosts meet together, and all of the registrars. So those conversations are being had at the presidential level, and then we will be notified of what the final decision is. But we typically build that calendar together and make those plans together.
All right, so if a student earned a grade of C last semester, that would be fall 2020. Can that C change into a P star at this point?
No, ma'am, sir.
Okay.
The
All right.
deadline was like December 11th or 12th, I think. Yeah, that's passed.
Okay. So last semester was challenging for a lot of students, and there are several students I bet on this call who have I's. They have grades of incomplete at the end of the semester. What happens to the incomplete if the student does not finish the assignments?
So at the point in time that a student is awarded an incomplete, and an incomplete means that there was one major component that you missed in the class, not that you were absent for half of the semester. There was one major, a paper, a project, a final exam, a midterm, and something that was excused. So the student receives an incomplete, the faculty member submits an incomplete grade form with what we refer to as a default grade. So it indicates what the student has to complete. And if the student does not complete that, then this is what the grade will be in the class. Otherwise, once you've completed the requirements, then whatever your grade is averaged as, that will be the grade of record for the student. And again, the following semester is what we recommend to complete, but a student has 1 year to finish that incomplete. But I would follow up with the instructor at this point to make certain that you have an idea of what you need to do and where it is that you stand. Because if that course is a prerequisite to anything else, your faculty advisors are going to have a challenge with your class schedule.
Okay, thank you. All right, is this semester also going to be pass, no pass, or will it just be the regular grading protocol?
I don't know. Does anybody else know?
Yes, the
Dean.
plan. Yes, folks, we'll talk. The plan for this semester is that the grading will be regular grades going forward. I have been trying to get on for the past hour. So.
Okay. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from the dean. The A, B, C, D, and I'm not even going to talk about the last one because it should not be part of our vocabulary, but the standard grades will be included this semester at the end of the semester. So let's do what we can to make sure that you are happy with the grade at the end of the semester. Okay. So if we are on ground, will there be online options as well?
Dean Udoka, my understanding is that there will be online options for students.
Yes, that is my understanding as well. The online options, however, will not be the fact that you can take all your courses fully online. It would mean that there will be options of having some classes that have classes face-to-face as well as online options for the same class. For instance, Dr. Boyer's class might have a section that's face-to-face and another section of the same class that's online, as was the case prior to COVID-19. So those will be there. We hope that there will be more expanded offerings for online to make it possible for students to fill their schedules.
Okay. Do we have any idea about work study in the fall, how that would work?
And I am anticipating for the fall semester, I know they did some other allocations with that, but we're fall 2020, but fall 2021, if we're on campus, we are anticipating that things are going to function as usual with college work study. But you see the college work studies person contact information, Miss Tonya Williams Slayton. You all may feel free to reach out. I will do the same.
Okay, okay. There is a question about having access to assignments during the self-care period. Let me ask you to coordinate with each professor about that because, you know, one professor may have assignments that are open, another professor may not. So let me ask you to coordinate with your individual professors about that. Okay. The question about graduation has come up. Are we walking across the stage this fall? Are we Zooming? Do we have any idea about the plans for celebrating victory at the end of the semester?
Dr. Klim, you want to take that?
Yes, sir. So one of the things, and just outside of my window, there was a meeting there that they were looking at the logistics. We're talking through the logistics, and I know because I walked past and I know the people who were there. But one of the plans is that they are working, the ceremonials committee is working to ensure that students still have that opportunity for their moment in the sun.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that is what we're anticipating.
Yay. That would be great.
Yes,
Yay.
I thought that was great news. And then for our graduate students, you know, we've moved to having the students lined up there, the hooding part of it happening. So yes, if there are any graduate students who are here.
Okay. All right. I had a question who wanted to know why, excuse me, a student asked me, why didn't we have an official spring break this semester?
So I think it was part of, my feeling is for the safety and well-being of the students. We have an already abbreviated term. And so the effort was made with the self-care days to give students and to give the faculty an opportunity to breathe, to woosah. And we did already have Good Friday off. Friday was already a holiday. So that just afforded students an opportunity to have some semblance of a break, albeit we had a 13-week versus a 17-week semester at the university.
Okay.
And it was trying to be mindful of the fact, I'm sorry, Dean, go on.
No, I think, Dr. Klim, thank you. That's exactly right. I think the driving factor is the short semester. When you have an abbreviated semester, there is actual number of hours that students are expected to be in classroom in a given semester. And in order to make those number of hours for our accreditation, there could not be a full spring break. Otherwise, we would have, if we have the extended semester, that is built in. It could not be built in given how short we have abbreviated the semester.
Okay. All right, there is a question, and this is for you, Dr. Hudson. What stage are we in establishing the CAU chapter of the Financial Management Association?
Thank you. We are in the beginning stages of that. Dr. Wanda Owens is actually going to take the lead or be the faculty advisor for FMA. So contact her. Right now, she's looking for people to lead the organization.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And this may be for you, Dr. Klim. We have had students who have had a tough semester. What resources are available? And actually, maybe all the department chairs may want to pitch in. Resources for students who are falling behind, who need a little bit of assistance.
So in the Center for Academic and Student Success, we still have Smart Thinking, the online tutorial is still available. You all can find the link at the bottom of your page in Canvas to go to the online tutors. We also have Ms. Palm in the area who is actually providing academic support workshops for students. So time management, study skills, Canvas and negotiating and navigating Canvas workshops, test taking, note taking, reading textbooks and materials. So we offer a number of academic support workshops. And if you check your CAU email, you have several emails from J. Palm at cau.edu. And we've even, as we have talked and met with students after the midterm grades were posted and we received the progress reports, We've reached out to some students, and some students are honestly struggling with academics and with life. So we do have a counseling center on campus, and the Office of Counseling and Disability Services is also available to students in the event that you just feel like you need to talk to somebody and you may not want to speak to your faculty member, your faculty advisor. Counseling and Disability Services is available to students as well.
Okay. Department chairs, is there anything you want to add about your particular areas? Dr. Hudson, you look like you're good. Dr. Brown, any thoughts? Dr. Vest?
The main thing I would like to say is just a little bit about morale. It's just for you to really keep up your morale. And I think we've all got the marching orders from the top when the COVID first hit to really be mindful of the situation with the students. And if I may quote the dean, as the dean mentioned from the onsite, he said he had a little problem getting on. So I know that we've all been a little bit of mindful of some of the challenges, not just the face-to-face challenges, the infrastructure challenges. Some people, their home life is they're sharing a room with their brother or sister or their siblings. So I think we've always been this way, even pre-COVID. And I think that's one of the reasons that you come to CAU or a school like CAU is that we're very caring. So we're mindful of the situation, and I know we're across the board like that. So I'm using the dean respectfully, because when it first started, the dean would say, if I were a student, I might not even trust what I said, that my internet went down. So we're mindful of some of the challenges that students are facing. So in terms of morale, just keep plugging away. This situation is unprecedented for all of us. So including us as a chair, it's new for me. It's challenging for me in many ways. So I'm just empathizing with many of the students, and just hang in there and keep your morale high. Thank you.
And stay in touch with your faculty members,
right.
your instructors, and also with your department chairs. And if you have been absent and there's something that you're able to document, the Office of Student Services and Campus Life, students have had any number of emergencies. I just learned about a student who lost a home to a fire, and shortly after that, the grandmother passed away. And the student, as you can well imagine, is just distraught. So that's something that we can document, and Student Services and Campus Life can do the excuse form for that with the documentation, and they will share that with your instructors so that it is an official excuse. But staying on top of things in class and making your best effort to be in attendance, to watch the Zoom recordings, office hours. I mean, I'm aware of the B School faculty having office hours with their students that they extend to you. And I'm also aware that sometimes people are sitting there by themselves because you may not be coming. So please come out and say hello to the faculty during office hours.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know we are right at 7 o'clock, but I've asked the panelists to hang out just for a few more moments in case anyone has any final questions. And then while we're here, I also want to say thank you to the staff, to Cassandra Disson, to Kamala Cole, to Alice Kaysen, because without the support of these individuals, we couldn't do what we do. So I definitely want you guys to know that this is a team effort.
Cynthia Cook.
Oh yeah, and Cynthia Cook, who is the queen of the School of Business. Thank you.
No, we won't go that far.
Thank you. Okay. All right. So just a couple of thoughts about building community. One thing that we have done, and I think Ms. Cook and Dr. Hudson have been really good. The dean has done a great job of bringing in virtual speakers that we would not have been able to have due to travel schedules or other types of conflicts. So Dr. Hudson, could you talk a little bit about some of the special guests that you've had on campus? And Dr. Udoka, I'm coming to you afterwards.
Well, we had a lot of corporate presentations. Actually, we had Dale coming in. We had Fifth Third Bank, I do believe. We've had Raymond James coming in. So we had quite a few in the fall. We do have some more coming in the spring. I know we have West Rock coming April the 15th to talk to you. So there's a lot of companies, but then there's a lot of opportunities for scholarships as well. We had Dr. Elania Hudson scholarship that we presented for marketing students. That's coming to a close. We also have money for financial planning students, if you're a financial planning major. So there's a lot of opportunities in terms of internships and full-time positions. There's a lot of scholarships money out there as well.
Okay. Dean Udoka, some of the speakers that you've invited to our virtual campus, and how can people find out about the schedule?
Thank you so much, Dr. Boyer. We were the very first school in the university to establish a virtual presence for professional development once this pandemic hit. We have had a series of speakers that were alums of this institution. We have folks who are professionals in their field who have come to speak to you. I trust most of you have been in these sessions, and there is the collection of these speakers along with the corporate speakers that Dr. Hudson spoke about, all on our website. If you go to our website, every one of these engagements are recorded and are available for you to review. And things like this, I try not to call names so I don't miss people. We've had, again, very engaging conversations. If you missed it, please review them and definitely look for opportunities in the future. Please pay attention to notices that come out of our office to you about these events. A lot of students have been able to connect with folks who have spoken in this series, and out of those connections comes internships, permanent placements. Out of those comes engagement that have allowed students to actually link up with some of the speakers and be on forums that they have put together to prepare you for interviews, to prepare you for review your resumes. So there is a plethora of professional development activities that has taken place through this series. Please go online. If you cannot find it, email me and we'll send you a link to where you can find them. They're all online at this point. These are things that will continue throughout the year, even when we get back to campus. So pay attention and come out and support as well as learn from those opportunities.
Ms. Cole just posted in the chat where they can find the virtual sessions. So let me encourage all of you to do that. All right, we are at the end of our conversation with everyone. If you did not get a chance to ask your question, I want you to either direct it to your department chair. We posted the emails in the chat. If you want to reach out to Ms. Cook, ccook@cau.edu. I'm L. Boyer at cau.edu. Let me encourage you to reach out to all of us. Not that the dean doesn't want to hear from you, but this is just me. Start, lower faculty. Let me try to answer your question. And if I can't answer, I'll go to the department chair. If the department chair can't answer, we'll double check with the dean because, deans do big things. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to give our department chairs an opportunity to give some final thoughts, and we're going to have the dean do the closing comment. So we're going to start with Dr. Vest. Dr. Vest, final thoughts.
First of all, again, thank you. And I appreciate the questions and you being here with us. One of the other things about some of the exciting webinars that the dean didn't mention was we had some with our very own faculty. And so some of the very enriching things that you may or may not know about our faculty, we've also had webinars done by our faculty where I learned a lot about my colleagues. So as the dean said, and I like to reiterate, stay on the schedule with our corporate sponsors, a lot of alums, a lot of people that have nothing to do with CAU. And as you can tell, probably the sentiment is changing. A lot of big donors are giving schools money to HBCUs. It's a lot on the radar, as you know. So it's a very challenging time. But I did want to reiterate that be on the lookout for these webinars and these information sessions because they're more prolific now because of the way we're going remote. So they're everywhere now. People are hitting us left, right, and center. So be sure to join in with those because, again, that's a learning opportunity as well. Thank you.
Dr. Paul Brown, closing remarks.
Yeah, just really to thank Dr. Klim for spending this time with the students. You know, you take this for granted that this happens everywhere, but this does not happen everywhere. To them, right? To get this information, you know, to them. So really, you know, and you do this just for students all across the, you know, the school. So, right, you work a lot of hours, you come in early, you leave late. So we just really appreciate you for all that you do. Okay, and then
Thank you.
just on the side too, then there's still job opportunities. You know, I've 5 or 6, you know, internship opportunities where I'm getting, you know, from folks. And I'm sure it's the same too with finance and, you know, marketing and some other areas. So if you're still looking for an internship too, then, you know, contact us.
Dr. Hudson, closing remarks.
Thank you, everyone, for taking the time, students, faculty, and staff. I think during this trying time, the best thing that the student can do is stay in touch. Stay in touch with the faculty, the department chairs, reach out to somebody and let us know what's going on.
Okay. Ms. Cook, closing remarks.
Sure, thank you. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to join us this evening and to participate in this forum, all in an effort to educate our students and give them the best possible information. Again, I'd like to encourage the students, like everyone has just said, please stay connected. I mean, send us an email if you have a question. You had some great questions here tonight, so we thank you for asking. I really like the one where the student wanted to know a little bit more about ARCH. So I think that's absolutely wonderful. And it's another tool and resource that you can use to continue your education. Sometimes students come into us and they say, well, I can't take this class semester because I don't know where to take it. Well, now you know you have other options. But anyway, I thank you again, and I'll look forward to meeting with you all sometime in the very near future.
Mrs. Denson, Cole, any final thoughts?
Nope, none for me.
Okay.
Unless you need to reach the dean, then feel free to reach out to me. But happy to meet you.
Okay. Ms. Denson, Ms. Kaysen, any thoughts? Ooh, both of you are muted.
Thank you all for coming this evening. I hope that this forum has answered some of your questions that you've had. And if you have any questions for me, my email address is cdenson@cau.edu. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just, I could tell you it's been quite a year. And I just want the students to know and to understand that, we miss you and that we are looking forward to seeing you again and assisting you in any way that you need. I believe, I don't know whether you were on one of the calls, but we had a call about a year ago and talking about our program and how unique it is and how we are family. Mm-hmm. And I know probably right now you probably don't feel that much like family, but please, you really are a big part of the CAU family. And once we get back on campus, and you'll feel it. Mm-hmm. You'll feel it. The feeling is still there. Mm-hmm. It really is. So, but thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your questions. Gee whiz, I learned so much about the advising process. It's really
it was a great
unbelievable.
Session. Great session.
Yeah, it was a great session. Very, very good.
I see a couple of faculty members on the call. Ms. Presley, Ms. McCain, faculty, you know who you are. Any closing remarks, faculty? Dr. Patton, Dr. Bazuna, any thoughts?
I always advise students to reach me on my cell. I've provided a personal cell number for students to reach me during office hours. So I'm always available during that time from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Fridays. Okay. And even after classes.
Okay. And Ms. Presley makes a really good point, ladies and gentlemen. Just because I have my office hours on Tuesday doesn't mean that's the only time I'm available. A student will often send me an email to say, hey, are you available on Thursday or Friday? And ladies and gentlemen, we can be available, if it works for everyone. So let me encourage you to reach out to your faculty member. And we can do what we need to do to make sure that students are successful. All right.
Dr. Boyd, might I say this real quick? I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you teach business communications also. A lot of students, when you communicate to us, tell us who you are. You text us like you're texting your friends. Dr. Vess, I need to be advised. Who is this? And like Dr. Klim said from the onset, give us your 900 number when you communicate with us. We can facilitate the process faster. So I just want to take this opportunity because my colleague, Dr. Boyd, teaches business communication. And I know when you reach out to us, you're reaching out to us like you're your peers. Call me. This is so-and-so. Who is this? So just want to throw that in. So the communication part, you got to be a little extra stellar because we're not face-to-face. So be mindful of these things because they're going to take you a long way in life. Because now we're more like a monologue, so to speak.
Okay. All right. Any other final thoughts from faculty before I turn it over to Dr. Dean Udoka?
Yes, Professor Boyer.
Yes.
Well, let me say, since you called my name, and I want
Dr. Bazuna showing us lovely peach tree pear.
Yes, yes, that's what I grow this summer during COVID in my backyard.
Ooh. Well,
Yeah.
I can't wait till you bring me some so I can make a pie.
Okay, okay. Well, let me say it is just wonderful. And I have to pass a compliment to you and to everybody who organized this. And I think this is wonderful to really trying to answer every questions of the student. They normally do not get an opportunity. I think this forum is really very helpful. And thank you for really taking a lead and make sure that everybody makes some comments. That's nice of you. So
thank you.
I'm very impressed, and you guys are doing wonderful.
Okay. All right. Any other faculty thoughts before we turn it over to the dean? All right, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are tuning into this virtual town hall meeting, I don't want you to think this is the first time that we have done this. The dean had several in-person town hall meetings. I've lost track of time. Was it last year, two years ago? Recently, we have done this for a while. So when we get back together, I hope that we will be able to, again, get together and just sort of commune and enjoy each other's company. So I'm going to turn it over to the dean now for some final thoughts.
Thank you so much, Dr. Boyer. And to all of you on the call, many thanks. As you can see, I came late to my own party. And that is a good lesson for all of you, that you should never give up.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen my colleagues on this Zoom call. I've been on call since 8:30 this morning, nonstop, till probably about 20 minutes before this call, when I had, and it's showing here now, unstable internet. I could not get on, and I called around, and it was an area outage of internet.
Mm-hmm.
So these are things that happen, and this is Dr. Vest mentioned that. From the beginning of this pandemic, I've had more than one occasion that this has happened at a very critical time that I could not sign on. And so I could have just gone away and said, okay, I'm done. But I kept up, and I kept calling. What we have here is Spectrum. And it came on just when I came on board. So don't give up. Let this be a lesson to you that even after we spend the time to plan and get these things together, I could not get on. Mm-hmm. And of course, try going crazy, not being able to get on. But the party went on until I could get on board. So the lesson here is, moral of the story is, as you go through your classes, there are challenges. Mm-hmm. And we understand that there are challenges. And I've asked the faculty, my colleagues here, through this period to be conscious that there will be such challenges. to work with you, and we will continue to do that. As Dr. Boyer mentioned, we have had town halls at least once a semester for as long as I've been here, and we will continue to do so. The purpose of this period is to really open up and have a conversation with you, to answer questions that you have, because the best way to get information is to get it from the source. And we have the best sources on this call. So let me just take this opportunity to thank Dr. Boyer for moderation, outstanding work, and Ms. Cook, who pulled this together and has done everything possible to make it work, except make my internet work when I needed to work. So she's done everything to make this happen. To the chairs, Dr. Hudson, Dr. Vest, Dr. Brown, thank you for what you do. Students, you know who your chairs are. If you don't, please reach out to us and know who your chair is. You should get to know them well and stay in touch and stay connected. What we want to do in this School of Business is to make sure that you make a connection to us as the main source of information. And as you can see, when we need even stronger base of information, we bring someone like Dr. Klim, who knows all there is to know about the advising registration process. And sincerely thank Dr. Klim for taking the time to share this period with us, because she is truly the source. I call on her more often than you know. When I cannot figure it out, I call Dr. Klim. I know that I will have some good answers to come to you. There are occasions that students ask questions of me, and if I don't know, I will be honest with you and say, I do not know, but I will find out. More than likely, Dr. Klim would be one of those that I call to find out the answer. So I am appreciative of your being here, Dr. Klim. Thank you. And to all my colleagues on the call, I appreciate your support and what you do for these students. And students know that we are here for you. As difficult as this past year or so has been, we must support each other. We must use good sense to remain alive. So as we look at the small period that you have off, please continue to use good sense, continue to abide by what the medical community is telling us to do. And do not believe people who are lying to you, who want to endanger your lives. We sincerely care and love all of you. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves. There are instances that we may not have answered your question tonight, and that's just a matter of timing. If there are some pressing questions, please direct it to us, to me, to Ms. Cole, and we will send it to the right people to answer those questions. And just to the next professional development series I should plug here is April the 7th, which is almost a week from today, 6 p.m. Look for it, sign up, and once again, you will see what we're talking about what you could learn, what connections you could make on those sessions. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, colleagues, for the great work you've done to pull this together.
So ladies and gentlemen, that is the official end of our virtual town hall meeting. Thank you again for participating. If you have any questions, you know how to find us. Everyone take care and stay safe.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Good night.
Thank you all.
Everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Boyer.
Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Boyer. Well done.
Great
Thank you,
job.
Dr.
Thank you
Boyer.
all.
Great job. Thank
Dr.
you all.
Doka.
Great job, Dr. Boyer.
It was
Yeah.
a family event. This
everyone.
was good. We should
I have
do
a
all
question. I have one thing. I'm so sorry. I was wondering, Dr. Doka, could you stay on the call?
Mhm.
Could Camilla just keep you and I on the call? I have
Sure.
something I need I'm getting some requests and I don't know how to handle it.
Sure.
Absolutely,
Can you stay on the call, please?
absolutely.
Then in
Okay,
that
thank you.
case, Ms. Cook, I would encourage you to stop the
Yes.
recording.
Yes, I think I will do that
Yeah.
right.
Hello, I have a question
Yes.
also. My name is Courtney Jackson. I'm a student